Yeah, welcome to Art's Place, conservative talk from a different view. We've got a great show today. My co-host Lloyd Mendenhall is back from celebrating his 64th birthday last week. So it'll be a great show. We'll talk a little bit about that dumpster fire called the debate. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about the big story. Yes. The Broncos won last week. No, it was last Thursday. They won. Good for them, even though I'm not watching football this year. However, we're going to talk about the other big story. Trump and the First Lady coming down with the Rona. We'll talk about that and how the lefters going nuts. And we'll talk about what kind of cocktail is he taking to get over this bug quickly and to full strength. So let's welcome and bring back to the stage for a 1 week reprieve. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall and Alan. There we go.
All right.
Welcome,
Hey,
Lloyd.
well, thank you. Appreciated the time off last week. A little disappointed because last week Mel, he doubled my pay for my birthday, but but you did sing me happy birthday, so we'll let that go.
Yes, I did sing.
So, and Rick Albert's in the house, so
Rick Albert, welcome.
Yep.
So let's talk about that dumpster fire we saw last week. The what's called the debate, or some semblance of the debate. I mean, Trump could have just nailed it if he would just kept quiet and let that guy. He's the guy.
Biden. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah,
the guy. I'm the guy. Let him stumble and make a fool of himself. But I think he was so energized up that he was like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go, and I'm going to do it my way. I didn't prepare. Yeah, but I know my stuff."
And he does. The problem was he wasn't just debating Biden. He was debating Chris Wallace too.
That's true.
I think Chris Wallace, of course, my cousin and I talked about that. He's like-minded like we are. And he talked, Chris Wallace is a registered Democrat. So,
just like his dad.
Just like his dad. He's a bleeding heart, just like his dad was. Just, he's, back in the early days of 60 Minutes, I really liked what Mike Wallace did, but that's before the Democrats became, and I don't want to talk bad about the dead, but Mike Wallace was a pretty good reporter at one time, and then he became part of the Bleeding Heart Society.
Well, he got caught up in the blue wave, sort of saying, and we're not talking about that blue water in the toilets these days, but he's part of that blue wave that came in that swept, a lot of the journalists, and journalist sounds like urinalists, and I mean, there's no journalism here in the United States. All we got is opinion and activism, and it's all. Well, it's not all one way, but I'd say about 90% one way.
Yeah.
We do have, Fox, even though Fox is sort of drifting to the left.
I've got to where I don't hardly watch it because they've got, they've got some good people like on the 5,
Yeah.
They've was it Greg Gutfeld?
Greg Gutfeld. Jesse Waters. Carino.
Yeah.
And I think Kennedy's on there. I think they switched Kennedy and Dagny. They kind of, and then there's some other gal that switches around. And then there's
and
Juan Williams.
Juan Williams. Poor Juan, Yeah.
We're of Juan mind.
Yeah. It just, but yeah, they've I don't know if you saw, but Rick Albert is in the house. So shout out to Rick. And uh, they just Fox News is not what it used to be. It
Yeah.
just is conservative. I did like one thing that I heard this week when because I know we're going to move on to the president and COVID, but I did hear Rush Limbaugh offered him his slot
Yes, I heard
and
that too.
let him,
Use his platelets or his
use his face
antibody. Yeah.
yeah. He also said he would let him use it for his show for part of his campaign, which I thought was really good. And because Rush doesn't usually let people come on and just campaign, he's a one man show. He has guests on,
Yeah.
and I think Trump's probably one of the only few that's ever been on there.
Yeah.
And but you know, that we just don't have any true media outlets that are at least not conservative. We've got a bunch.
Right.
It goes back to what I've always said, and that's what I've always thought about was Walter Cronkite. I was one of them kids that used to, we only had one sentence that was ever spoke at the supper table, and that was, "Hush, watch the news." That's all my dad ever said. They set the belt right next to the to his plate, leather strap. It was one of his old used belts. I can't say that I ever remember him using it, but the threat of it, by God, kept us watching the news. And we watched Walter Cronkite, but he came out and he said that, he came out against. He did at the end of one of his shows in 1967, maybe. I can't remember.
67, 68, yeah. Somewhere
67,
around there.
68.
About the time they turned against the Vietnam War.
Well, yeah, and that's what he did. When he turned against it, he did an op-ed at the end of his show.
This war is lost.
Yeah, he says this war's lost, and that's when Johnson made the decision. He says, well, if I've lost Walter Cronkite, I've lost the nation. So he chose not to run. But years later, just probably 10 years before Walter Cronkite died, he came out and he wrote in his book, the biggest harm that he ever did to journalism was giving his opinion on his news show.
Right.
After that, every other reporter thought they were free to give their opinion. He says, and they started giving opinions and quit giving facts. He says that's the biggest mistake, and that's his biggest regret. And he's right, at least as far as CBS went, and there's the Huntley Brinkley report, and I don't remember who was on ABC back then because they,
Oh, that was 2020 had on ABC.
No, 2020 didn't. 2020 wasn't an evening news show. I'm talking about your 5 o'clock news, your national news.
Yeah, you're right. I think it came on. Was it a Sunday show or no?
It was a Sunday show.
Evening show.
Friday evenings, and it started out with Dan Sawyer and Sam Donaldson, I think.
No, it was
Diane Sawyer.
No, it was Sam Donaldson. Hugh.
Right,
Well, it was some
Hugh
of the
Down
guys,
and Barbara Walters.
And Baba Wawa.
Yeah, that's right. Because Diane Sawyer was on 60 Minutes. That's what.
Yes, that's right.
And did you know that her father was a big in the Republican Party, and she was a conservative for years?
Wow, did not know that.
I didn't either. And I heard her name mentioned on something, and I decided to look her up. And yeah, she actually worked as an aide for Richard Nixon.
Oh, interesting.
Because she went through journalism school, got a degree in journalism, got her master's, and she went to work for a TV station for just a short period of time. And she didn't really like it. It's like, I don't know, Chicago or someplace. I don't know where it was at.
Right.
And then she moved to Washington, D.C. to try and further her career. And there was a job opening for the assistant to the assistant, or assistant to White House director,
Right.
And she went to work for him.
Mm-hmm.
and ended up becoming an aide to Richard Nixon, one of his White House aides, and actually was the one that was still pushing, that he wasn't a crook. You know, she was part of that. She wrote the speeches for him, and or not wrote the speeches, but she did a lot of the press releases. Her and I forgot who else it was. So she was actually part of the Nixon group. You know.
Okay. Well, I
And
have
like
a
I said,
friend here in Colorado who ended up being president of the Senate here in Colorado, who was one of Nixon's speechwriters. That was John Andrews.
mhm,
And he nominated me at the county assembly when I first ran for office.
oh,
And
right,
he was one of the founders of the Western Conservative Summit. And he was part of the Centennial Institute.
right,
Big conservative. And I haven't seen him in a while. I'll talk to my friend Jimmy Sengenberger, who, by the way, we may have on in a few weeks on this show. Interesting guy, young man who has his own radio show on Saturdays on KNUS. And
right.
so I just spoke with him just before the show, and we might be able to work something out, and he'll be on, and we'll talk about interesting guy. So I'll save it for later. I
Yeah,
want to say
yeah,
hello to Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk. Hopefully he could catch up on the U.S. politics here. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and John Andrews was one of the first people to resign from the Nixon administration over Watergate because he saw
That's
the writing on the wall. He
all
said,
the right. Yeah,
I don't want to be associated with that. And
right.
so he's
Yeah, yeah.
originally from Michigan, and he moved out to Colorado, I think, in the 70s, and then
Right.
got into politics and was in the state senate for 8 years. I think it was right at the time where we actually had term limits in
Yeah,
the House and the Senate, and
yeah.
finally the governorship. Because before that, there were no term limits for governor here in Colorado because uh, Dick Lamb and Roy Romer actually served 3 terms.
Really. Yeah,
Yep, they
I
served
remember Governor
24
Lamb.
years before a Republican came in, which was Bill Owens, who served 2 terms, and that's the only Republican we've had ever since.
Now, when did Governor Lamb serve? Had been in the
He was
'70s.
in the early 70s,
Yeah,
right?
because when I graduated high school, we got a letter from the governor, and it was signed by him.
Hmm.
They
Yep.
don't do that kind of crap anymore. They should
Yeah,
probably
he
stamp.
defeated Vanderhoof, who was came in after Governor Love got a cabinet position in the Nixon
Right. I
administration.
remember Governor Love too. Yeah.
And Vanderhoof was defeated, and Lamb took over, and that to me that was the start of the downward slide for Colorado because
Yeah.
he was the one that was putting all these liberal judges on the state Supreme Court, and well, that's another long story. So
Right.
let's
Right.
bring it
I,
all the way back to what we
back
were
where we
talking
were at.
about,
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Okay.
And so we were talking about the debate and how it should have gone, and it was Chris Wallace who brought up, what was it? It was it his taxes, and I think that's when it really started the whole
Yeah. Yeah.
shouting match and stuff.
Yeah. And you know, they don't know how to. They don't know how these so-called journalists don't really know how it's supposed to be done. You know, they just
Mhm.
you know, and like you said, sometimes President Trump is his own worst enemy. You know, he kind of
Yeah.
gets off point. He gets fired up, and that's good. That's what people want. But they want to see his energy. But sometimes, somebody needs to suspend his. Somebody needs to take his cell phone from him so he doesn't tweet quite so much.
That's true.
And somebody needs to, remind him, hey, you're still the president. Let's a little more decorum there. But
the one question that really bothered me was when he threw out the white supremacist comment, and it's like, come on, he's already adjudicated that. He's already said he's against hate of all sorts.
Yeah,
and that started a whole new thing. Oh, well, he won't condemn white supremacy. He condemned it all.
Yeah, they wanted him to stand up there and say, I condemn, read my lips. Well, you know what happened? The last guy that said that, he lost the office, Oh, and then, that's what they want him to do. Another read my lips moment.
Biden pipes in, and the Proud Boys. And it's like, I had never heard about the Proud Boys before. And then somebody brought it up and said, they're not a white supremacist group. It's headed by a Latino.
Yeah. And the Proud Boys, I got to tell you, just give you an example. Okay. Proud Boys go to, I don't know, Seattle or Portland. And it's probably Portland because that's where the longest running, they've been protesting there for 4 years, Well, these guys, the Antifa guys, get their little hoodies on and they go out there marching with their, got their mask on and just trying to look like, their skinny jeans, hoodies puffed up and back from their friggin' man buns. Anyways, so the Proud Boys show up and they want, they start arguing and shouting and screaming. Okay. So they decided the proper thing to do was each group would pick one person to duke it out, and then the other group went home. And they agreed. Both groups agreed, Antifa and Proud Boys. Well, Proud Boys, they get the biggest old husky son of a gun they can. I mean, he's a big old boy. And then Antifa gets this tall, lanky, skinny jean wearing little man bun thing. The unfortunate thing was the big hefty guy. It wasn't his chest of it puffed up. It was his belly. And he fought worse than a girl. And that Antifa guy just whooped his butt. So they were showing that film there that, we settled this like, men should, and we went our ways. And I wrote up there, I said, listen, if you Proud Boys are going to put somebody up to fight for us, fight for, the average American patriot, get somebody who can actually fight, not some fat old slob that's out of weight and, took one swing and he was out of breath. It's like, you lost because the slob you picked couldn't fight. If you're going to do this, at least get a real man to do it. Don't get some, couch potato that's overweight and he just came out of mommy's basement to protest for the conservatives because he embarrassed the hell out of us. That's what I know of the Proud Boys.
Okay. All right. Now we're up to. I want to say hello to Mike B and Mitch. Welcome to the show. All right. Cool.
Glad to see Mike here and Mitch both.
And Rick Halber and okay.
Yep, Rick and Grant. Yeah. So, next point.
If you just listen to watch the debate and just forget about all the shouting and all that stuff, Trump basically nailed Biden on everything, the economy and his foreign policy and all Biden. The only thing that Biden did well was looking straight into the camera and he knew how to talk to the camera.
Yeah.
Because, he's a politician. He's
been doing it for 50 years.
And Donald Trump is I mean, Donald Trump. I mean, you've seen him on The Apprentice, and that's how he rolls.
Yeah.
But and what was
Yeah.
the other? Oh, how about when Biden told him to shut up and called him a clown? I thought that was come on, man. You
Yeah.
don't need to do that. You do that, you lost the debate.
Yeah. What cracks me up about Biden is I listen to him talk sometimes, and he tries to sound like he's, instead of Joe Biden, he's trying to be Joe Cool. And he
Yeah,
does not pull it off well at all. Some wrinkled old fart trying to act like he's a young teeny bopper. Sorry, it don't float. You know?
and, and you look pale.
Yeah.
You look
Yeah.
like he's been in the basement for months. You know,
Well,
he
yeah,
just
he probably
didn't
he
look
hadn't seen
good.
sunlight in 3 months.
Yeah, Trump. How tall is Trump? Like 6'2", 6'3"?
Something like that. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think Biden is about 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it looked like Trump just towered over
Yeah. Yeah. I,
him.
because, and it's, I just watched snippets of that because I just thought, here's the thing. Biden won the debate only on the fact that he only had to step over the broomstick. It wasn't like the bar was very high. It was laying on the floor and he just had to stumble across it and they gave him the win. And I
Yeah.
knew that's what it was going to be. And I knew that Chris Wallace was going to, do his thing because this is a gotcha moment.
Yeah.
That's what all these journalists are after. They don't want the truth. They don't care about the truth. They only want to get those, those little sound bites and gotcha moments and stuff like that. And Trump's got a hair trigger, and they flipped his switch. That's what Chris Wallace did.
Yeah, they were just hoping to get a Trump to fall in their trap and get a nice sound bite that they could play over and over
and over
until November 4th.
Yeah.
You know?
Problem was, I haven't been hearing too many sound bites. I mean, I saw a little bit popping up. People were, like,
Well,
oh, he
it was
didn't.
the white supremacist thing was a hot thing for a while, and then, well, let's go right into our next topic.
Yeah.
Trump came down with the COVID-19.
Yeah.
He and Melania, and he's now at Walter Reed Hospital getting treatment. And so, I've heard three things from the left, and there were a few, very few, saying, get well soon to both of you and for a speedy and full recovery. And then a lot of, I hope he dies from the left.
Yeah.
And then there's the idiots like Michael Moore who always faking it. He's faking it because he's just trying to score points because Biden's way ahead of him in the polls.
Oops. I was shaking my coffee, spilled it on me.
Oh, yeah, this time don't pass out on this show.
No, I just, I didn't have a spoon to stir it up. It needs to be stirred up a little bit because the additive, and I splashed it all over me. Oh, well. But the left is just, all journalists want to do is try to capture the fame of Woodward and Bernstein.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what they're after. And isn't Woodward the one still he puts out a gotcha book every 4 or 5?
Dead.
So it's Bernstein.
Oh, it's
I think it's Bernstein died. I think it's Bernstein died. Woodward just put out another.
Another hit job.
Yeah, whenever he's he's already run out of money because of his drinking and gambling, or I don't know.
He came out and said that Trump's way back when he's got tape of him saying that he was downplaying it because the COVID, because he didn't want to panic the country. And you know what? That's kind of a good thing in a leader.
That's
We
what a
don't want
president's supposed
a
to
leader
do.
going right for the hills.
You know,
We're all going to die.
he might have been downplaying to the press to try and keep, fear out of everything. Because as FDR, who was a Democrat, liked to say that the only thing to fear is fear itself.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that's what he was doing. But
Mhm.
behind the scenes, he was doing all this stuff. When he started shutting down the borders and people coming in from
Europe and China.
Europe and China,
Yep.
oh, he's racist. He's racist.
Yeah, he's a xenophobe.
He's
What a
xenophobe.
racist.
Yeah. Forgive me for my ignorance, but the first time I heard xenophobe was probably one of the either DC or Marvel comics, and they were talking about people who were scared of aliens, those kind up there. Now all of a sudden they use it for anything that's not in our country, and
Yep.
well,
I want to say hello to Mel. Welcome
Mel's
to
BMAX aerial
Mac, Brian.
visuals.
Yep.
Brian, yeah.
Welcome to the show. And so Donald Trump, he's at Walter Reed. He's taking oh God, I had it in the tab. Redesimir.
I think that's what you said.
Redesimir.
Revisimir or
I had it in the.
It's one of those.
It's the thing.
It's the thing. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I'm sure everybody out here knows too. Yeah. It's the thing. You got it right. Yeah. And he's also taken the blood plasma platelet.
Yeah, the antibody plasma. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep getting my tongue wrapped around my eye teeth and can't see what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's taking a multi-pronged approach. Treat Trump, receiving all the standard care beyond routine and international COVID protocols.
Okay, well, from what I heard yesterday and today, when he went in Friday, he was running. Yeah, he was running a fever. He was starting to feel. They got concerned for a little bit, but by the time they started, by Saturday, he was back to, he was recovering. Fever was gone, and he was doing better. But the doctor said, next 48 hours. So he's coming up on his 48 hours here pretty quick. So.
Well, they want to wait until day 8. Day 8 is the
where
key date, because that's where a lot of people his age really start taking a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
So,
and,
but the reason
we wish him the best.
Is he has spike in his temperature. He had a temperature of 103, and oh. Brian has a good one. Xenophobe was a musical instrument. That's a xylophone.
Yeah.
That's a
maybe
good one,
maybe
Brian.
he's referring. What was that one that guy in Star Wars in the cantina? Maybe that was a xenophone.
Oh yes,
xenophobe.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's. What I don't understand is, do these new journalists, these younger people, just not speak plain English anymore? Can't they write in plain English? I mean, I get so frustrated to read some of these, the news stories, because I just soon read them as to listen to them, do whatever on the news. So I'll go through and read what the transcript says. And their sentence structures and it's like they don't teach anything to these journalists in college anymore. Most of them, if they can't abbreviate for this type of speech, texting, well then, they're just a loss for words. But yeah, they got to come up with these snazzy little catchphrases,
Was a couple shots of Clorox.
That would be funny. Yeah, I took some Clorox. See, I told you so.
Because everybody else, in the media was talking about injecting people with Clorox or bleach.
Right.
And these people, I swear, these J schools, that means journalism school for those of you in Rio Linda, as Brush would say.
Rush would say, yeah.
Those J. I think they went to the Goebbels School of Journalism.
The Goebbels?
For those of you, Goebbels was the propagandist for the Nazi regime in Germany from 19.
I was just making sure you said Goebbels and not gerbil. I just wanted to make sure you saying Goebbels, not gerbil.
Yeah.
Some of them have the mind of a gerbil, so. Yeah. I know everybody's, those of us that are part of the human race and consider that humanity is a good thing, we're all wishing the president and the first lady well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, I think those Democrats ought to be running damn scared trying to get Trump out of the way, because they could have Pence up there next.
Mm-hmm.
And he could give them hell. I have no doubt that Pence can hold his own. The four-eyed canine is here.
Oh, okay. Great. Cool. And also, these Democrats might want to think about karma. Want to think about that, because the election is coming up, and you might want to tone down your bitterness, because if things don't turn out the way you want them to, I mean, you're going to be in for a very rude awakening, and then you'll have a reason to scream.
Yeah.
So
what's GoPro got to do with it? Karma.
Karma.
Mel says, "What's GoPro got to do with it?"
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
that's right.
Karma. That's what happens. But I'm going to just diverge again. But you think about karma as I do. You think about it. Karma is where life comes back and slaps you in the face for something you did, right? Isn't that what sort of happens with that drone too? It just drops down out of the sky and slaps you in the face. Yeah.
It's hey, we got this great camera. Let's make our own flipping drone. Screw DJI.
Well, let's call it karma, because it's going to reach around and bite us in the butt.
Let's make it this feature called self-ejection batteries. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll pop out in the middle of the sky. And
I don't know which would have hurt first landing on your head, the battery or the drone. Probably the battery.
Yeah.
Without the battery, drones are pretty light, but boy, that battery hits you in the head. That's bound to hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the heaviest parts in the drone.
In the drone, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then, hello, Jay Bird, Joe. Welcome to the show. Ooh, we're up to 10 people, so let's get this going. Hopefully, Steve Carpenter will take a listen too. And
I put it down on Facebook and Twitter. So
awesome. Oh, and by the way, I made a little change in the name of the channel. It's called Arts Place Conservative Talk. I think that'll maybe
you sure did,
a little
didn't
better
you?
in the search engine.
Yeah, I just happened to look at that, and it just shows how much I pay attention. I just
did that a few hours ago.
Okay.
And
Well,
I
that's
was
good.
kind of mulling that for quite a while. That,
Yeah.
you know what? When people are, if I put conservative talk, that will help my analytics and bump me up in the search. And
Yeah.
since this show's been around a while, and then this will bring in more viewers to the show and
I
get going.
probably, maybe on my own channel, I need to drop the, the grumpy old fart taglines that, because I put old fart and, that's probably why people don't come to my channel very much.
Well, it sounds a lot better than the grumpy jackass chant.
That's true. Yeah. Well, see, I have competition like with, you type in grumpy and you get the grumpy grandpa and,
Yeah, there you go.
and that guy's an idiot. But anyways, or so am I. So
Brian makes 2 weeks being the time frame the majority of. Yep, you're right, Brian. I think
yeah.
this will be a hot show for a while, and then after the election will be. Okay, we'll go back to regular programming.
Brian says he's scared of me. Yeah, well. I know my grandkids are part of the time.
Well, and I did a solo show last week, and I did it all myself, and I managed to eke out an hour, which was good. So, hope hope that you had a great birthday last week, and all right. So back to regular programming. So all the libs they're losing their minds, saying if you would have worn the mask, you wouldn't have caught it. And it's like, you know what? I don't know if it would have stopped anything. Lloyd, did you freeze up? I think Lloyd froze up. Okay, so I'm gonna bump him out just a sec until he gets his stuff together, and then once he pops back in, we'll bring him back on. And anyway, so yeah, the libs are going libs are just going crazy, and so it'll be Lloyd just lost power. That's what happened to him. So when he gets back in, I'll bring him back up. That's right, Brian. The Lloyd's flag quit. His flag quit waving. So yeah, talking about the. Let's get back to the debate and how that all just kind of. Okay, Lloyd is waiting for the reboot. Hey, Tony, welcome to the show. Tropic, he was at Spin Down last week. Welcome to the show. Yeah, so anyway, I was at a GOP VIP's house for dinner, eating ribs and sipping on my whiskey and Coke, watching the debate. So that's what I did last Tuesday, and it started off kind of interesting, and then right out of the gate, Trump was ready, and that's when the interrupting started. So I want to find out who was the first person to interrupt. From what I've been hearing from different sources, it was Biden that was the one that started all the interrupting, and that's what led to what happened in the debate. But yeah, if you just turn on the radio and listen to the debate, you would probably think that Trump won the debate. I would say that the debate was a draw, that Trump really missed on a lot that would have given him more points if he would just kind of tone down, interrupting, that he would have been able to, let Biden talk. And I think Biden would have tripped himself up and really made him look bad. And you're right, Joe. Wallace was biased, and he's the one that kept interrupting Trump. And my big beef was bringing up that whole thing about Charlottesville, and there was another thing that Biden brought up that was a total lie, was the one about calling vets losers and jokers, and that was disproven long time ago. And this is the thing about Democrats and journalists that really bother me is, what? Repeating a lie over and over still doesn't make it true. But that's all going back to propagandizing, going back to the Goebbels method of journalism, is to put out a lie and keep repeating it until people start believing it. And I think the reason why the Democrats keep bringing up Charlottesville is because the polls are showing that they are losing the black voters are going over towards Trump. And I think that's going to be the key to his election. And okay, Trump was on the attack to confuse Biden. Then Biden had listened to Trump. Trump or Wallace, the person is there. So what? Okay, you're right, Steve. And I think, and Joe's right. I think Trump is going to get a big chunk of the black vote. And I think before Republicans would only get 10 or 15% of the black vote. I think he'll get a big chunk of that. Here's my prediction that's going to happen on November 3rd. I don't think it's going to be close. I think all this talk about a close race, I think we're going to know who the president is either the night of November 3rd or early the very next day. I don't think it's going to go to any courts. I think what's going to happen is Trump will have a big enough lead to where it won't matter how long they keep the polls open to bring in more votes. That's not going to allow them to catch up to Trump and win the race. I think there's going to be some really big surprises in a few key states. I think he's going to win some of those Rust Belt states that he won last time. I think he's going to win by a bigger margin. And I think he's going to pick up a few more blue states that, he may actually take Colorado, which would be a big feather in his cap. So let's welcome back to our newsroom Lloyd Mendenhall.
Give me a second here. Let me plug in the headsets here. Here we go.
Peace on. And And welcome back. So your power went out, boy.
Yeah, we've been having problems for the last week. It started last Sunday,
I remember.
and you know, like it went off at 8:30 Sunday night. Didn't come on till 1 o'clock Monday morning. Right. Then it went off again at 3:30 on Monday. Came on about 6. And hey, Steve Carpenter, yeah, and we've got wind, and whenever we get wind, these power lines start popping. You know,
Yeah,
it just takes a second for it to just pop on, and then the router's got to reset. All that stuff's got to reset. So, okay, I'm back for a few more minutes, anyways. I hope.
Well, you need to have GPCs on just about everything to keep you online.
I know. I haven't gone out and bought any of that.
I should get one for your computer and your router, so when the power goes out, it's like a big battery that recharge when the power comes on. Then when the power goes out, it keeps your important stuff running.
Exactly, and I really do. I'll definitely start looking into some of that stuff because I need to do that. But anyways,
we got the Democrat debate, and I think that's Wednesday.
The VP, yeah.
What's it, GPC? Yeah, it's a It's like a battery for your computer. Yeah. When the power goes out, it doesn't crap out your computer. It'll keep on running because it's got a switch in it. When it senses there's no power, it'll go to the battery.
It's an external power supply or extended power supply, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to get one. I should have had one 10, 15 years ago. Yeah, it's a battery backup.
It's battery back. What you need to is you need a generator.
I've got one.
A diesel or a propane generator. Have a separate generator room, and when the power goes out, and then a few seconds later, you'll have your power. And
I've got like an 8,000 watt.
My other show, Tanner, that's what he has at his house because in the Philippines they have brownouts,
right?
Which are scheduled so that they could.
They have rolling blackouts or rolling brownouts.
Yeah.
They thought they were custom cases.
GPC. Yeah.
GPC. Be blue. Yeah. No, that's not the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got an 8,000 or 7 or 8 between 6 and 8,000 watt generator sitting out there and then outside. I just got to get it all set up where it'll automatically kick on, or at least go out and start it. Yeah, I bought a generator because we went 10 days without electric, and our house is all electric. So,
UPS, that's what that's called. It's calling it the wrong.
Yeah, UPS.
Yeah. So where was it? Oh yeah, going back to the debate and how I think that whole Charlottesville thing, that was just another gotcha question that I think Chris Wallace was trying to get Trump on, and then right after that, when his press secretary had the meeting, and they were trying to get her to say something like, well, why won't he say white supremacist? She goes, he has.
Yeah, it was just, it was probably just
they just
3 or 4 days.
White supremacist part.
Yeah, they want the white supremacist, but yet he had just issued an executive order probably 3 or 4 days before
terrorist
about
organization.
the KKK and the Nazis and the
Antifa.
Antifa.
Yeah.
I mean, KKK, you can't get much more white supremacist than that, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And he declared them a terrorist group. So,
Yep. Oh,
you know,
and notice how Biden didn't say anything about Antifa, well, except that he said it was an idea, not a group. I'm like going, God, you mean an idea started those fires in Portland and Seattle?
well, if it was an idea that started it, it was probably from his brain trying to overthink, getting overheated from trying to overthink something, you know.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's, you know, it just makes you wonder if how many of those people actually believe the BS that they're talking, you know.
Yeah.
The ignorance of anywhere from the slightly left to the far left has just gotten so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trump should just tell press corps to check out his YouTube channel. Yeah, but they won't.
Yeah.
They want him to say 2 words: white supremacist.
Yeah.
Then why hear all that other, hate groups, which
Right.
covers everything. They didn't want to hear that. They just wanted to hear that one word and
what difference does it, what difference does it make whether he says white supremacists or if he names specific groups that are white supremacists? That should be enough. I mean,
that's true.
But no,
Hmm.
but Chris Wallace is an idiot anyway. So
yeah. Well, and I think the person who's going to be the moderator of the next debate doesn't sound like he's a really good one either. So
who
it'll
are
be
they?
interesting to see if there is another debate with the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
But he just might be able to come back just in time for the next debate. That's not
Right.
until what, the 15th?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to be the moderator for that?
Oh God. Okay.
All right, K9 says Chris Wallace looked like a 3rd grade substitute teacher out there. Yeah. Yeah. And I
Next debate is oh God. Yeah, and the guy was also the moderator for oh God.
you're supposed to have these notes there, Art. You're supposed to
Oh,
be
he interned for Biden and worked for Ted Kennedy. Yeah, Steve Scully.
Oh, okay. Worked for Ted Kennedy. Good Lord.
Yeah.
What is he, about 105? How long has Ted Kennedy been gone? He died back when
He's been gone, what, about 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long?
10 years, I think.
I thought he died before I thought he died when Bush was in office. Bush 42 or 43.
Oh.
Or was it when Obama?
Maybe look up something else. Okay.
Yeah.
Ted Kennedy.
Ted Kennedy, yeah. These moderators are all liberals. No, and that's the thing. Here's the thing. If he can still hold his own against those liberals, well, then that's
that's
showing something there. Yeah.
Oh, August 25th, 09.
Okay. So it was right after
Yeah, that was
Obama.
during the Obama administration.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if he was if he had made it to see Obama elected or not. I couldn't remember. I've slept since then.
That's how Scott Brown became senator.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
He won the special election, and
Yeah. That was a big upset for the
he
Democrats
only
on that
served
one.
one term, and then he was defeated by Elizabeth Warren.
You know, and I hate to say this, but she grew up in Oklahoma, and it's,
Yeah.
we've got, we were the only state that had no counties or no precincts vote for Obama, or I mean for
Clinton, Hillary Clinton.
Hillary. Yeah, Hillary. Yeah, see, I'm trying to forget her name, and yeah, 0 precincts voted. We're the only state that was 100% precinct red.
Good.
But yet, we've had 2 people that have been the biggest embarrassment to Oklahoma, in my opinion, and that was first Anita Hill, who was a law professor out of the University of Oklahoma.
Right.
And then Elizabeth Warren, tried to bring down Clarence Thomas. And then, and she's not very well liked in Oklahoma, but she's still, I don't even know if she's living here anymore, if she's gone back to teaching there or not. But she was pretty well run out of the state back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Elizabeth Warren grew up in Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't have a problem with her saying that, she was Cherokee and all this because her folks had told her that. That's an Oklahoma tradition, okay? It's just, as my brother used to like to say, everybody's got a dead Indian grandma somewhere,
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is, and it's part of the Oklahoma tradition because this is one of the biggest groups of Native Americans. I mean, this 3/4 of this state was just set up for the Native Americans. It's called the Indian. It's the only state to ever be called the Indian Territory.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of traditional. There's a lot of mixed Native Americans. What she did wrong was she didn't have a Dawes roll number. So she wasn't a certified member of a tribe, and she used that even though she didn't have that, she used that to help get her through college. And help, which is illegal.
Her get a job at Harvard.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
However, we can all say she is certifiable.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely certifiable. She's just not certifiable Native American.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
That's the big thing. Of course, now they're getting a little more, they're even getting tighter on their regulations of Native Americans. Now they're requiring a DNA test, and you have to have at least a certain percentage.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In the, of course, I live in the Muskogee Reservation now, so, maybe that calls me for something extra as being living on the res. That's the only thing I'll say. And, she probably did grow up being told that, but what she made her fatal error was holding on to that and using that to get through college, because that's a no-no. I don't care who you are.
That's like that gal pretending to be black.
Black, and she was head of the
she's got
Louisiana NC. Yeah, she even was the head of the NCAA in her state. It's like, and then you see her mom and dad, and definitely Norwegian there.
Yeah, she was Flurgan the Gorgon.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it bad, that people pull that crap.
Yeah, and they talk
if
about
it had been
if it weren't for double standards, they wouldn't have any standards.
Yeah, that's the truth of it. Yeah, because if a conservative were tried that, they'd have got called out the first time out of the box.
They would. Mm.
But they let her get by with that for years and years before before she finally got called on it. And I could understand her logic growing up in Oklahoma, but you know, she knew when she didn't have a roll number. And that's the big thing here in Oklahoma, and it's part of the Bureau of Indian Affairs. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they require you to have a roll number, you know, in order to or be certified by the tribe, and she wasn't, and so she should have never gotten. She should actually be forced to pay some of that back because she used
Yeah.
that to get through college. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think she should be forced to pay it back.
Mm-hmm.
Been me, they'd have come after me right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but anyways,
Yeah. Well, this is a whole nother topic we could talk about.
yeah,
You know, quotas and stuff. We got to lower the bar to let people in the. That's kind of like you have this exclusive club and you got the best and the brightest. Oh, but we'll lower the bar down for these people so they could get in. And it's like, you know what? Then when you do that, that's kind of like saying, well, you're lowering the bar on that school's reputation.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
look at Harvard, Harvard and all those Ivy League schools,
right,
you think of Harvard and
yeah,
Princeton and Yale. Wow. You got to be really smart to get into that. And now you see they lower the bar, while the quotas to get these
right,
people in.
yeah,
And these people, a lot of times, they don't even finish school when they get there. And then the ones that do, they're still subpar students.
yeah.
And that
Well,
kind of, that's ruining the reputation of the school, because now Harvard and the University of Michigan and even University of Ohio, they're all the same. They don't,
yeah, it doesn't make any difference anymore because they're
one's any better than the other. A community college, they're almost on the same level
well.
as a community college.
That's I heard this used. I heard this term before about just California. All of theirs are UCLA at uh, University of Southern California. All of those they're just 4-year state college. That I mean they're just a 4-year community college.
Affirmative action, that's what I was thinking about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see what Brian wrote up there? Did y'all hear about that congressman from Virginia? He thinks that wants Hillary kicked out of the
Yeah.
Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And there was some Democrat person running for Congress that he sent some sexual text to a constituent or something. So
don't they all?
I'll probably think that might be a resume enhancement for that guy.
Yeah. Well, think about it.
Unless he's showing
What
his
was it?
finger.
Congressman was his name Weiner?
Well,
Who's that?
that's different. He was congressman from, I think, New York or something.
Yeah.
This
I
was
mean, come on, the guy's name was Weiner. What do you expect? So it must be a Democratic. You gotta. If you're a male, you got to be a pervert.
That's
Bill Clinton. You just go off, name 3 or 4 of them.
Well, I mean, look at Biden sniffing girls.
Yeah, Biden's such an old perv. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like that creepy uncle up in your attic or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you want that for your president?
I know. It just shows the standard of the Democrats is so low that, it's just, you just got to shake your head and think about it and wonder, what are these people drinking?
Well, and I like that video. Who was it? I think it was Steve Carpenter. No, Sean Oliver sent me a really funny video. This comic talking about Trump and grabbing women's, you know what? And he goes, but the guy is a billionaire. You can make it. I mean, you could sue the guy, and then you'd be a millionaire.
Yeah, I think the best one.
Letting some thousandaire do that to you, and you're not
Yeah,
batting an eye.
yeah. Well, I'm sitting there thinking about the joke that was sent to me about the people jumping out of the airplane. Did I send that one to you? Did I forward that to you?
You probably have.
Yeah, there's the let's see, there's Donald Trump, the Pope, a 10-year-old kid, and Nancy Pelosi.
Version about that. Where
Smartest woman in the world just
jumped out, and the Pope says to the little girl, "Don't worry, the smartest
you can go
girlfriend just jumped out with my suitcase."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something along that line. Yeah. And somebody sent me that, and I just cracked up laughing because I knew I'd heard it before, and but it's done in a
joke. I think that went back around when Nixon was president.
Probably so, and they've just made it now. Nancy Pelosi jumps out with the girl's backpack.
Changed the names, and
it still fits. Yeah.
Well, Lloyd, we burned a little over an hour, and I want to thank you for coming back. And
I enjoy it.
I just sent an invite to Thaddeus McConnor. He may be here next week or the week after, so that'll be interesting. Right. And then Jimmy Sengenberger, we'll get him on. He's the radio host, young man that this guy started his radio career in his teens in high school. So
there's a lot of guys that used to do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much anymore.
He was still in high school, but he started going to Republican meetings when he was 13 years old. So he's
good for him.
Been around. So it'll be a treat to have him on the show, and it'll be fun. So thank you very much for coming back and being part of the show again. And
always a pleasure.
And thank you, folks, in the chat. Boy, we got up to 12 people. I think that's either a record or pretty close to
getting close to it. Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit each, each week, and maybe the name change will start helping.
It'll help.
Make sure you put. You got to get real good about putting hashtags in the.
I can do that.
In the description when you set this up, because that way people will look and they'll say, "Oh, there's conservative," and they can. That's anymore the tags don't work, but the hashtags do. But anyways.
All right. Well, thank you, Agent K, Rick Albert, Brian, Rick, and Steve, and
Mr.
Joe,
Stay Drunk Grant,
and Mel, and and Tony. Tropic was at Spin Down last week, so that was cool. And Grant and Tim. So thank you, everybody. Have a great Sunday, and God bless. And we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Later, everyone.